to those who are joining in right now, to those who will join in later. My name is Silvester, Funding Specialist with Funding and Business. And in today's live, I'm going to help you guys learn how to apply for an SBA loan. Now, I'm really excited to talk about this because it's over 10 years of experience with different types of small businesses, helping them acquire working capital even when they thought they couldn't, maybe because of bad credit or lack of years of experience. So I promise you guys, this is important and it works. Take notes if you have a pen and paper. So if you're struggling to apply for an SBA loan, understand how it works, if your business qualifies for it, or even figuring out the aspects of an SBA loan, then this live is for you. And please, if you're in the live, thank you for joining. Share your opinions, thoughts, and questions. I love questions. So, as I was saying, in this live, we're going to learn exactly how to apply for an SBA loan. We're going to look at the step-by-step process of applying for an SBA loan. We're also going to look at the eligibility criteria or requirements, excuse my accent, but we're going to understand what makes your business qualify for an SBA loan. We're also going to look at the different types of SBA loan. And please take note about that part because there's a lot of different types of SBA loans. People assume just like SBA is one single type of loan. There's different types that cover different types of businesses and situations. So we're also going to learn the pros and cons of SBA loans. And again, maybe I'll ask a question because maybe I'm not the only one who's noticed this, but there's a lot of SBA loans application videos out there that actually are packaged well, but they don't really help you to the last step. So stick till the end and I'll help you guys get a lender. Like there's a tool that actually matches you with the lender, and this tool is on the SBA website. So stick around and I'll help you guys match with the lender because that's very important. And also, if you're struggling to apply for an SBA loan, write an application or even figure out how a business plan is written down, there's a link again. It's also in the link in the description. It's actually helping you guys work with mentors. There's mentorship programs that can actually help you package an application and also write a business plan. It's a group of mentors well informed on business information, and we'll cover that at the end of the video, by the end of the video. Again, if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to chat, ask any questions. Yeah. Anyway, so now you might be asking, what is the SBA loan? Now, in general terms, the SBA loan is any type of loan that is given by an institution. This can be a bank, a private lender, or any type of government that is backed up by the Small Business Administration Agency. Now, that might be a little bit vague, and that's why we're going to use this example. And think of it like when you're back as a child in the playground and you needed to play with a toy that somebody else had, but they were not really comfortable giving it to you for whatever reason. But then the teacher steps in and says, "Hey, don't worry about it. If you guys share the toys, if anything happens to it, I'll I'll take care of the situation." So now you end up getting the toy, but if you think about it, it's not the teacher who actually gave you the toy, it's the student or your friend. Now, if you look at it like that, the SBA is similar to the teacher. Like they just back up the lender, they don't really give out or issue out loans. Now, the biggest mistake I can actually say is that a lot of business owners skip the SBA loan with the assumption that it's hard. And this is after trying every other type of loan from traditional, advanced, alternative lending, cash advances. And that actually doesn't make sense because if you look at the Small Business Act, it was actually made in 1953 as a law that made the SBA, the Small Business Administration, as an independent agency that helps small businesses aid, counsel, and assist them. It also helps preserve free competitive enterprises. So one of the myths that people say it's impossible to qualify for, then the Small Business Act would never exist because it's actually designed to help businesses acquire working capital and not shut them out. And the only way you're able to acquire an SBA loan is actually understanding how to qualify. And this is way more beyond just knowing how to apply and fill out a form. The other myth that a lot of business owners believe is that it takes forever to fund. And that's why I said by the end of this video, you learn the different types of SBA loans. There's actually SBA loans that can be approved within 36 hours and funded within 30 days. And that's far from your regular SBA loan that actually take 30 days to even get approved and maybe 90 days to get funded. Now, the last but not least, the biggest myth is that it's only for big businesses. And I've seen a lot of business owners that will actually shy away from an SBA loan, assuming that, oh, it's only for businesses that have 100 employees or doing big revenue. So there's actually a tool on the SBA website that can actually help you identify whether or not your business classifies as a small business. And again, there's a link at the end of the video. Now, what I can tell you guys is if these myths that are here, if you keep believing them, they're actually holding you and your business back. Now, with all that said, the biggest question a lot of people ask now, I understand what is an SBA loan and all that and the back end, but where do I actually get an SBA loan? Now, as I said initially, giving you guys the example of the kids in the playground, the teacher doesn't really give the toy, they just back up the situation. Same thing with the SBA loan, they don't SBA agency. They don't really give out loans. They work with third parties, and all of these third parties actually have their own requirements. So the third parties include traditional banks. This can be Wells Fargo, this can be Banks of America and all that. You can also get an SBA loan at a credit union. You can also get one at private lenders that you can find online. You can also click a link in the description if you're looking to apply for an SBA loan. And then last but not least, I can promise you guys, I am not a gatekeeper. And that's why I actually have, again, I'll probably repeat this again at the end of the video, a tool that helps you match with the perfect SBA lender that suits your needs. And this is very important. If you take one thing from this video is matching with the right lender. It's a make or break. That's like a marriage because you have to remember SBA loans have long term, so you don't want to match with the lender you're not comfortable with. And instead of running around clicking on different links and Googling, there's actually a tool on the website of the SBA agency that can actually help you match with the lender that's actually SBA approved. Now, here's one thing that you guys also need to learn. Using your business as leverage to acquire working capital. And how do you do that? You actually have to learn the different types of SBA loan requirements. And some of the requirements that you need to have in order to be able to be approved for an SBA loan include you need to have a profitable business. And by profitable, I mean as lenders usually measure your business predominantly using your profits and revenue. So if you have good profits and revenue, you're considered successful and profitable. The reverse is the same, but again, if you're making losses, don't let that make you stop you from applying, because that doesn't mean you're not a profitable business. It just means you're going through a loss. Again, you also have to be US based. That means your business has to be registered with your local government or your Secretary of State. Again, unfortunately, if it's not registered, then the agency assumes that you're not really operating within the guidelines of your state or where your business is located. The other thing you also need to have is to make sure that your business is classified as a small business. Again, there's a tool on the SBA website that helps you define small businesses. And basically, I'd say if you have 100 employees and are making anywhere between $1 million and below annually, then you should be considered small business. But it's good to check on the website. Again, another requirement is you have to have owner equity. You cannot be approved for an SBA loan, let alone apply, if you own less than 20% of the business, whether it's a partnership, corporation, um, LLC, you need to own at least 20%. If not, then you have to ask your other shareholders to get involved with that. The other part is you need to be creditworthy. Again, with this, you need a 650 and above, and with each lender, it varies. And then last but not least, it has to be used for what you applied for. You cannot, this is not those types of loans you can actually apply for, get it, and then go balling and like just spend it anyhow. And I also need you guys to know one thing, that with the requirements, it varies. The fact that there's an agency in this SB administration that is involved, they have their own requirements. And the fact that they give it to lenders or third parties, each third party has their own requirements that might vary from a different lender. So what you see here is just the basics. Sometimes they will look at your credit score and maybe be flexible. There's some lenders that only work with 700 and above, or 650 and above, or 720 and above. Again, use the matching lender tool. Have a discussion with your lender, see if they're able to be flexible with your situation. If they're not, again, you can click on the link in the description. You can master the art of using that to grow your business, and you can talk to somebody from our team that can help you qualify for a business loan if your credit is not really that good, or if you can't find a lender that can work with you. Okay. Now, again, it's really important to note that you must have exhausted all other options, and that's why I always say the biggest mistake that most business owners make is exhausting all other options and then sitting back and relaxing and not even trying to apply for an SBA loan, considering the fact that it was actually made to create a free and fair playing ground for businesses that were not able to qualify for a business loan elsewhere. Okay, so make sure you've tried each and every loan out there, but carefully, not just dipping into anything. And then once you're not able to qualify for anything else, mostly traditional loans, then apply for an SBA loan. Now, you might be asking yourself, what are the different types of SBA loans? Now, there are several types of SBA loans, but for time's sake, I'll only focus on the three main ones. But with the SBA loans, they're initially created for disaster and relief. So we have there's plenty of SBA loans. So again, match yourself with the lender and they'll discuss with you the different types of loans. Anyway, the first type of loan that's common and most popular is this SBA 7A loan. This one's for general business funding and can be funded up to 15 million. Now, it's best used for working capital, real estate, equipment, and acquisition. Now, it's also important to note that this takes at least 30 days to get approved and maybe 60 to 90 days to get funded. And the other thing is, it also comes with a little cousin known as the SBA Express loan. Because let's be honest, the biggest problem or drawback about SBA loans is the wait time. Because by the time you fill out the paperwork, you look for forms, like the opportunity you had is probably gone, or if it's an emergency, it's probably drowns your business. You're trying to run a business, not try like babysit your inbox. So with the SB Express loan, you can actually be approved for 36 within 36 hours, right? And you can actually get funded when approved within 30 days, so the same month. It's also good to know that with the SB Express loan, you can only be approved to a maximum of 500,000. Now, the next type of SBA loan is the 504 loan. This one is the same thing, can also be up to 15 million. Oh, sorry, I think I said the 7 is 5 million. Anyway, it's best for long-term fixed assets and land acquisitions, building constructions, and renovations. Again, the application processes for this ones vary with each type of loan and again, the type of lender you use. And I say this because, as I mentioned, the last one, the type of SBA loan, which is the SBA micro loan, I'd like to mention that this one rarely requires collateral because you're only getting $50,000 maximum, and it's for small businesses. Usually, those businesses that are starting up that require working capital, inventory, or equipment. So again, with the SBA microloan, it's 50,000 only. Terms for most, for the average of all this range from 5 to 10 years. With different lenders, you can actually refinance and spread them out also 30 years. Now, again, if you need to learn more about SBA loans, there's a playlist on my channel that you guys can watch and follow up on the different types of SBA loans and why an SBA loan can actually be a bad idea. Now, what are the pros and cons of SBA loans? Before I mention them, it's good to know why the advantages and disadvantages come about. Like why these advantages there in the first place and why the disadvantages in the first place again. So with the advantages, they primarily exist because of the Small Business Administration's existence. So like how can I say they have their nose in your business when you're applying for an SBA loan. So the fact that they're there, like when I was giving you guys the example of the kids in the playground, the fact that the teacher's there makes it more easier for the other student to give you the toy. Why? Because they feel comfortable. If something happens, hey, the teacher has it. So that means for you, it'll be easier to borrow the toy. Same applies for the loan. It's going to be an easier qualification process compared to a traditional loan. Why? Because the lender has less risk. And how do I explain this further? Now, take for example, Bank A is going to give you $100,000 at 3%. Now, the bank takes the full risk of the whole $100,000. That means it's going to put a lot of red tape for you to qualify. However, if an agency by the name Small Business Administration walks in and says, hey, out of that 100,000, I got his back. I'll cover probably 80%. Now the lender is more flexible and feels there's less risk for the amount of loan that they're going to give you. That's why they're able to give you the loan easier. Again, they're able to increase the amount. Now instead of 100,000, like, oh, you're gonna back up the 100,000, 80%, right? That's 20,000. So I can give you 200,000 or 300,000. Again, their involvement increases and improves the terms. So now that you understand that, this is what you need to also know that the disadvantages are also like come about again because of their existence. Now, the long process is again because of the Small Business Administration. Now, the fact that they're backing up a large amount of the loan requires them to do a thorough check, probably of your credit worthiness, your type of business, the industry you're in. Again, the fact that they also put collateral, back up at least a portion of the loan requires them to ask you to put up collateral. This reduces the risk for both the lender and the agency in case your business defaults on the loan. It's good to know that things that you can use for collateral include your house, your car, and even money, like as a down payment. Now, last but not least, you need extensive documentation. This includes your registration for your business, um, even tax returns. Now, again, if there's anybody watching during the replay, feel free to drop in with your opinions, thoughts, comments, questions. I love questions. Now, here's the last but not least. Now, I'm going to tell you things that banks don't even want you to know. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and that's what lenders are actually looking for when it comes to applying for an SBA loan. The first thing they require is collateral. Again, this can include cash, can include cars, and can include houses or land. Any type of asset that can match the value of the loan. Again, this varies by lender. The other thing they're looking for is your credit score. There's no way around this, unfortunately. If you have a bad credit score, try fix it or look for alternative lending. You can click the link in the description and contact us to master the art of using debt, and you can have someone work with you and help you acquire working capital that best suits your business needs based on your situation. Now, they also need to see cash flow. Again, this varies with lenders. If you're a startup, sometimes you might not have cash flow, but then that becomes tricky. You need to have some form of cash for most lenders, anyway, in my opinion. The other part that they're looking for is a down payment. Most times they'll look for 10%. Say, example, if you approve for 100,000, you require 10,000 deposit just to get access. Now, before we're all done, I hope you guys understood everything. These are the things that you should check right before. These are the things that you need to check right before you submit your application or when you're starting to apply for a business and SBA loan. The first thing is have a business plan. The second thing is know the amount you need and what you need the funds for. The other thing is check your credit history. Make sure that your credit is good, at least a 650 and out. If not, I'm going to show you guys how to use the matching lender tool so that you can be able to match yourself with the lender. The other thing is financial projections. You have to have collateral documents. This includes your title for your house, your land, or your cars. And again, last but not least, you need to show industry experience. That's why sometimes it's hard for startups because they don't have like the industry experience, especially people who are jumping across industries or niches. Like you find somebody who's a computer scientist opening a restaurant. So like sometimes with lenders, they'll look at that and be like, okay, you don't have that much experience in the industry. But if let's say you do culinary and you work at a restaurant and you're a chef and then you want to open a restaurant, that would probably make more sense now. So what do we need to do today? We need to take action. How do we do that? We fix our credit score, we find a specialized lender, then we get matched. Now, so I'm going to show you guys, as I promised, how to match with the lender. And I'm going to pull it up right now. Give me 1 second, guys, if you allow me. Oh, okay. No. All right, all right. All right. So again, guys, as I was saying before, this is a lender matching tool. Like I'm not a gatekeeper. As I said, I'm not a gatekeeper. So this is the lender matching tool that you guys can use if you're watching from TikTok. I didn't see nobody say hi or anything, but yeah. Again, feel free to share your opinions, thoughts. So now on the lender matching tool, you guys can use it to match your business. This is for the standard tool to match. So the first one, this is a tool that helps you define whether a business is considered a small business. You can start, for example, maybe if the number is 212, maybe you're in sales and financing, like I am. And then, so that's 5, that's the code, 522. Sales financing, oh, 52. Oh, then search. Then let's say you earn like 250,000 a year. Yes, so that means I qualify as a small business. Now, again, as I promised you guys, sorry for the wait. This is the lender matching tool that you have to use. Again, the link is in the description. For you to be able the tool is actually on the SBA website, and if you see this red area, again, today's column, that guy's holiday name, and also Currently 2025, oh no, September, we're experiencing a shutdown. So at the moment, there is no SBA loan being issued by the government because of the shutdown. There's a lot of funding or anything involved in the government that has been put to freeze, but that doesn't mean we freeze our brains from learning, right? So now, once they open, you're just gonna be ready to, jump in before everybody else. Now, the lender match tool is in the link in the description, and this is how you work. You can click on find a lender, but I'll just walk you guys through it. First of all, you have to describe your needs, and you're going to answer a few questions about your business. It's usually not a long process. Like you're going to ask how many years you have in business, your goals, just simple questions. Name, how long, how much you want. Then you're going to get matched in 48 hours. Sometimes I've seen it happen in the same day within 24 hours. Rarely does it go past 48 hours, but if it does, they usually have a link in the email they sent you that you can contact somebody and follow up. Again, once you do that, talk to your lender. Again, you don't have to be married to the lender. You're free to consider different options. If you don't like the tone, the vibe, or the terms that you're being given by the lender you found, feel free to follow up on different lenders as long as you're not having them run your credit each and every time. Because again, that's not a good way. Just have a conversation with them before you submit anything. Feel the tone, whether they're trying to be eating off of you or eating with you. Last but not least, apply for the loan once you find a good lender. Now, this is what, as I already mentioned, what you need before you get ready: a business plan, know how much you need, fix your credit history, have a good financial projection, gather like a lot of documents, and have some industry reference. So now to find a lender, you just click find a lender. And as I said, you're going to click your name, business line, address. I'm not going to do that because I'm not looking for a lender. Okay, now, last but not least, I actually said that I help you guys find a mentor that can actually help you package an application and write a solid business plan and improve your chances of getting that SBA loan. So how does that work? So again, link in the description. Their name is Score. This is a group of mentors well informed on business information. They can help you package an application if you need it and even write a solid business plan. You should check them out. And this is how you do it. Like you come here, find a mentor, how it works. So you're going to enter your zip code. I'm in Manhattan, 10033. Match me by zip code. Then your request will be sent to New York. Just put your name, your email, your phone number, zip code. How would you like to receive this notification? Email or text? I like email. How would you like to meet with your mentor? If you're a person who's busy and can't afford time to go to their offices or location, you can use a video, phone call, email. If you're able to do it in person, even better. Now, select the area you want to be mentored in. Mostly, as I said, they can help you write a solid business plan and other things, but this one we mostly use it to help most of our clients write solid business plans and package the applications before we submit them. And then describe your business question here. Is your business already established? Whether, again, you can visit Score whether or not you have a business. So whether your business is registered or you're just interested or curious on how an SBA loan would be before you start your business, you should look into it. So how did you hear about Score? Do not feel free to mention us. We're not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. So just say you heard from a YouTube video. Or like if you're watching from TikTok live, and then last but not least, that's it. So now that we have that we have that written down. Okay, now we're ready. All right, so now last but not least, if it's one thing you guys need to take away from this video is that you guys are visionaries, and the fact that you're still learning and watching to this end means that you're trying to use your business as leverage to acquire working capital. And how do you do that? You acquire these three factors: knowledge, you build your reputation, and have a solid network. Right now, you're building your knowledge, and that means it's going to work for you. So, if you want to learn more about the different types of SBA loans, how they work, and how to be approved, there's a playlist in the link in the description. And for the guys who are going to watch during the replay, thank you very much for your time. I don't take it for granted. And I'll see you guys in the next one. So, flow of C.